Hey, Fatfish heads! It's time for another edition of the hottest new podcast on all platforms, Fatfish. Sit back and strap yourself in for the wildest ride on the open seas. Now, flap your fins for the fabulous Fatfish brothers, Eric Fish Snyder and Brad Grunny Grunberg, a.k.a. Snacks.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Wonderful to see you.
You too,
Wonderful.
sir. You too.
Good to
Is
see you.
that a Fatfish hat you're wearing?
It is. I look better. I'll take it. Whoop.
I love it.
Fatfish hat, so everyone knows that we're Fatfish. And I got my hair's a little, just got done working out. It's a little shave on the bottom. I might grow a goatee. I don't know. I'll ask you what you think.
Wow.
Got the Raider emblem because we have some Raiders that are watching the show, and
We love
you're
the
wearing
Raiders.
the same shirt that you wore for Onyx Muse. So it must bring you. You must have had
good
so
luck.
much.
It
brings you luck.
Wash, so yeah.
Hey, before we got a guest on today that is going to tear it up. He reminds me of Dave. He's a New Yorker. You'll introduce him. He reminds me of a rest in peace, a good friend, Dave Brown, that we had on the show. He was a bouncer at Mom's Saloon. But this week, Brad, we're doing the show. But this is the week. To me, the most important holiday we have as Americans is Memorial Day, and we don't know them all, but we owe them all, and we should pay homage to the reason why we could have this podcast. I've dealt with humans in my life to think that if we lost World War II, we'd still be the same country. I disagree. So to all the veterans out there, I know your dad served, my dad served, my grandfather served, our generation, their older generations did what they had to do to allow us to have a podcast. Do you agree?
Absolutely. The ultimate sacrifice. I mean, these young kids, men, women, dogs even, that gave for us so we could have this podcast, so we could live our life in freedom, not some of these other countries where, you see what's going on in the world. So every time we got to, honor their memory and talk about them because, kids, young kids, 18, 19, 20, they go into the service. It's just terrible. I used to, at the club that I worked at, the Hollywood Tropicana, whenever a service person came in, free beer all night. Every time I gave them, I never let them reach in their pocket. So
that's great. That's fantastic. That touches my heart because, again, they go in knowing what the sacrifice is. And a lot of people in America take it for granted. We got a lot of problems in this country. We stay away from them a lot. We're not woke culture. But the bottom line is, I've been to other places in the world. This is the best place. Well, maybe Australia. I haven't been there yet. But
yeah.
Anyways, Brad, I don't want to further ado to nothing. Talk about who we have on today, and we'll bring them on.
Well, about a week ago, I was driving around LA picking up people. As you know, I'm a Lyft driver, and this mook gets in my car, and I picked him up from work, and right away I had to, make sure there was enough room in the back seat. This guy goes 6'8", I think 295. One of the, sweetest guys. Right away, we bonded. I want to introduce this very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, say hello to Tank Sanfratello. It's Tank
Sanfratello.
Sanfratello. God, look at that. Look at how handsome that man is. Oh,
top of the morning, gentlemen.
Nice to meet you. Let me ask you one thing, Brad, before you go on. You're 6'8", he said. What did you run the 40 in at the combine?
Oh, man, the 40 time. I ran a 5'2".
Wow.
Yeah, Tom Brady did a 5'3". You got a shot. Did you play ball as a kid?
His goofy ass for sure.
Well, before we get into it, you must have played ball. Did you play football?
Absolutely. Yep, played football. I actually played at Milford Academy, which is upstate New York, football prep school. Great place to go for kids, especially on the East Coast that are looking to elevate their football careers, try to get scholarships and stuff like that. It's a great outlet for recruiting, getting big-time D1 schools in there to recruit. I played with LaShawn McCoy, Super Bowl winner. Got the pleasure to block for a guy like that. Makes it real easy when you got someone like that slipping and sliding with the ball. You hold the block for 2 seconds, and that guy's to the house.
Hey, Tank, we want to start. Tell us where you're from, how you got to California, all that good stuff.
All right. So let's see. So I am from New York, Long Island, baby. Suffolk County, stand up, 631. Port Jeff, where the ferry goes to Connecticut. And yeah, man, I moved out here about 5 years ago into LA. Came with my ex. And yeah, man, shot out here. And then, man, no looking back, I mean, obviously, we moved out here. She moved on. But I ain't moving nowhere, baby. I'm sitting tight.
I love it. I love it. That's so great. That's so great. So, where I picked you up, you're a security guard at the hospital called General Hospital. And let me ask you, how did you get that job? Did you have any other jobs before you landed that one?
Yeah, so actually I had a few jobs before landing that one, and it was all in like it was like that weird twilight zone of like post-COVID where everything was just kind of reopening again. So my first job when I came out here was at Bevmo over on Santa Monica. And I learned quickly on the procedure and policy of how California handles things, with that job. That was like my big, like, okay, we're not in New York anymore. So that was like it was a quick job, man. I jumped in there. They promoted me to like a manager like week one. It was I was just getting thrusted up, and I'm like, all right, like I have no idea, just learning on the go. And one day some dude came in, and he was lifting bottles, some transient off the street, and he came in, and he goes to walk out. He grabbed like two high priced bottles off the shelf, and he goes to walk out, and my coworker, man, goes running up on this guy. He's like, "Hey, man, you're not taking the bottles." And the guy, jumps in front of him. And I was like helping out at the register. I'm scanning people out, trying to get this rush out of the way. And my coworker decided, he wanted to be on some, heroic antics. He jumped in front of the guy. And this is a big dude. He was probably like 6'3", AA male, big guy, big build. Came in here, me personally, I would have just been like, oh, fuck it. We lose the bottles. What are you going to do? It's like, write it off. That's what they tell us, right? When you go through training, people steal. It's under 1,000. You let them walk. You don't stop people. So it turned out escalating because my coworker grabbed the guy's hand with the bottle, and the guy started getting super turned up, real heated. And he came back in, and my manager that I worked with was this little tiny Spanish woman, man. She was like maybe 4'11". I'll give her a prop, she was just tiny, maybe like 80 pounds, and she comes up front like to see what's going on. And this dude comes like charging back in, and he runs right up in her face. And I'm like, everybody's just standing there with the phone out, and I'm like, is anybody stepping in between this, big dude and this little like tiny, basically a child-sized, adult? Like, is anyone going to do anything? And I just took a quick glance around, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I looked at the lady I was ringing up. I'm like, hold on one moment. I walked right up in between them, just like a door, just whoop. Like, and I was like, sir, I'm like, I will not stand here and watch you stand over a woman screaming in her face. I was like, you could talk man to man. Talk to me. I said, you want to yell at someone? You can yell at me. And the guy was all up in my face. And I said, listen, man, I said, you already came in here. You lifted your bottles. I said, you walked out. You came back in. Now you're looking for extras. I was like, listen, just you're trespassing. Please leave. I'm not going nowhere. I said, all right. I'm going to tell you 2 more times, because in New York, if you tell someone that they're trespassing, you advise them 3 times that they're trespassing. You can physically remove them from the premises, So I gave this guy the three round salute, and he just wasn't picking up on it. And I said, all right, man, time to go. And I walked up in him, and he grabbed my chest, and I grabbed this guy by his throat and his belt buckle. And I just lifted this guy up and went running with him out the front doors. I blew the front doors off on the store. The 2 sliders, blew them off the hinges. This guy went tumbling out into Santa Monica. And it was absolutely it was wild, man. I came back the next day. I thought I was a hero. They were like, hey, man, you're fired. I was like, damn, all right. I was like, good to know. So that was like first lesson of
fire.
Of like, California culture 101, man. Just don't touch nobody, man. They're just going to do what they're going to do and stay out the way. But I mean, at least I felt good knowing that guy didn't, tee off on some little,
Yeah.
tiny defenseless this just would have been horrific.
Hey, Fish, what's your policy at your club with that stuff? Are you allowed
Same
to
thing. We don't wait 3 times because we're dealing with alcohol. You got to go.
Yeah, it's different at the club for sure. When it's like if it's like corporate retail, it's very different rule structures than privately owned and operated clubs where security kind of gets the green light. Hey, someone's acting a fool, get them out of here.
They're lucky to have you. What was the next job in line of that?
Oh my God! After that, yeah, it was funny, honestly. From there, where did I go? I went to Rite Aid in Beverly Hills. That was my next stop. Rite Aid, Beverly Hills on Canyon. Okay, dealing with the ultra rich having the shop in a peasant store. You have them coming in there like, where's the caviar shelf? I'm like, yeah, I don't know if we have that here, ma'am. And then you see like the 95-year-old ultra they got these these little gold fund babies pulling in and these like brand new Bentleys just like straight up just driving them into the wall and just putting them in park, and I'm just like, yo, like it's just like it was horrific to watch. The parking there was horrific. I'm watching these like $1 million cars just rub up on cement walls like like it's a video game or something. I'm like, geez, like, but yeah, that was the next gig.
Yeah.
And then
people tell you at the Rite Aid, because I go there, they go, you know who I am? Right, Fish? They come into your bar, you know who I am? And then you go, I know, you're an asshole. What do you want?
Yeah. I got telepathy. Yeah. Let me hold on. Let me just recollect for a second here.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? Tank, you can catch the Fat Fish podcast on Facebook Live, YouTube, DBTV, Roku, and Podbean. Podbean's where we get all our listeners from. And then this segment and a bunch of segments from you are going to be on TikTok at Fish6134. Thanks to Shucks Tavern and Johnny Cocktails Entertainment for letting us do this. And I got to ask you, Tank, one thing. We know that you work in a hospital now as a security guard. I got one story I'm going to say and let you talk, and I got nothing else. My bar, Shucks Tavern, is across the street from a hospital. And one time I walk outside to walk a girl out to her car because it's a backyard parking lot. I look to the right. She gets on her. I look to the left, and I hear screaming. And I see a guy running down the street, okay? And he's in a smock, and his dick is hanging out. He's got an IV in, and there's 2 hospital workers running after him. So I could only imagine in the time that we have left, which is limitless, some of the stories you have of being a hospital security guard.
Hey, Tank, before you start, I just want to, Fish, I never really told you, we've known each other a long time. That guy running down the street was me. That was me.
No, I'll tell you why it wasn't you. Because I could see the guy's penis. You forget.
You knew right away that wasn't me. Okay.
By the way, that's probably it's got to be the most Vegas shit I've ever heard, with the bar in the same parking lot as the hospital.
It's not the same parking lot, but across the street, caddy corner.
They run slots on each patient floor to see how fucked up the problems are. They're like, does this guy still have the gambling addiction? He came in here to check in for the 5150 on.
Funny. Guy's great.
So the stories that this gentleman told in my car until I dropped him off were epic. And the floor is yours, Tank.
Oh yeah,
the best ones. The best ones.
We get stories that are just sweet and shallow and just easy going, and then you get like ultimate pinnacle tragedies, man, where it's just like it's like stuff that they could make a movie over. It's like I mean, like some of the lighter things, you'll have like you'll have like family coming in, family will be fighting, you got to go poke your head in, hey guys, play nice, and then you have stuff where, we deal with a lot of transients at the hospitals, as you can imagine. They come in, they check in, they get their food, they get their, their clothing, they get their meds, most importantly, and we get them back out there. But they always bring their own song and dance too. And everybody's got their own personality. Everyone's got their own little ticks and quirks that, you see in your frequent flyers. And then, you'll have tragedies where, I would say probably, yeah, the most tragic thing. Let's start with the dessert first, shall we? Like the epic tragic. It's like, I would say my first week on the job, we had a woman just gave birth, and I guess she was contacted by CPS that they were taking the child, and the lady left. She said she was going for a walk. She went to the Beverly Center and she bought or whatever, I don't even know. She must have went to a store around, like, copped a knife set, and she came back with the knife set, and she comes through. She's getting screened down, and we're like, "Hey, what's up with this?" And she just gives us this look, real blank stare, and we're like, "Hey, we can't let this, we can't have sharps, knives coming in here. It's not happening." And the lady started getting real jumpy, and we went to like screen even further on the next level of her own body, and she backed herself up into a corner, okay, and pulls a blade out of her gown, and ear to ear, in our faces, in the corner, ear to ear, horror story.
Oh.
And it was like it was like a grindhouse horror gore scene, man. It was absolutely, it was the saddest. It was sad because she was young, she was in her mid late 20s, first child. And I guess her game plan was going to be, I'm taking myself and my child, because I'm going out with my own baby. And I'm sure that's not the only case of something like that happening, but for me, in my own eyes, that stuff, like, not many people witness on a daily basis or ever in their lives, So, to take that role of security and have to stop somebody in a mindset like that, where she could have easily taken that knife and started swinging it at security. She could have started swinging it at us. Who knows how far she could have went. So, yeah, that was probably like the saddest thing, that I probably witnessed, knowing that, she was going to execute her own child, from being taken by CPS, and then to take her own life literally like that in public, especially. It was such a deep emotional thing, to witness something like that, where you're just like, damn, and there's nothing you could do. They couldn't save her. It was, but on the other side, you hope the baby goes on and, never has to hear about, they just forget about it, as we say back in the.
Yeah, I always ask nurses, I meet in my car or wherever, I always ask, how do you not take what you see on a daily basis home with you? And the same question to you, Tank. How do you not take something like that home?
You just can't, because here I am, it's still with me. So you don't you take it home with you, but it's like the reality, how I try to process stuff like that is gratefulness. It's being grateful. It's looking at it as, whenever I think my day is fucked and it's too much, there's always someone at the hospital who you could see or bump into, and you're just like, damn, I could be this guy. I could be missing a leg on a using a bag to shit and piss that needs to get changed out, and like you see so many different walks of life, and it's like it's like just being grateful. You find that, like, damn, all right, well, life could definitely be worse. You see a lot of different walks of life. So I always try to take away from it. It's like, it's not like I'm going to wipe that out of my mind. That's something that's like ingrained. You could go to therapy, you could talk to people about it. Me, it's just, I wrap it up as, hey, it's part of the job. It's not an easy job. People laugh, they make fun of security. Hey, Paul Blart, Mall Cop, they crack jokes, and it's like, hey, listen, I get it. Yeah, it's comedy to some people, and I get that there's some security guards that take things to the next level. You know, some people have too over pride in their job. They get confused between being a security guard, a police officer. You know, there is areas there where I get it. There's some people that, you know, give it a bad name. But I mean, you know, for the real ones that go out there to actually make an impact positively in people's lives, or to help people that don't know they need that help yet, because, you know, they're not in the same mental space as you know, as we are, or somebody, you know, it's not on alcohol, whether it be like, you know, in the club or bar, you know, someone that's been served too much, you know, they don't know they need help, but we do, you know, and their friends aren't going to be the ones to help them. And, you know, we see it all the time at bars and clubs. People come in big groups and parties, and you're at the end of the night cleaning out the bathrooms, and you know, one of the buddies is, you know, half dead on the bathroom floor. Nobody even went to go check on the guy. You know, you see it happen all the time. So, you know, security, I take it. I take the role with pride, just enough to know where my payroll's at, and just enough more to know that I could still impact people in a positive way, and as a beacon of support. You know,
We opened the show with an homage and a celebration of Memorial Day. To me, it's the biggest holiday we have for our soldiers.
Yes, happy
I don't think
belated
people
Memorial Day.
appreciate what policemen, firemen, and what you do, the nurses and the doctors. I mean,
Yep.
we have EMTs that come into Shucks and they'll tell me, man, we have to do some of our training at the hospital across the street. We see 100 EKGs in 4 hours because, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm leaning into this. How many tweakers and druggies do you see at night that are going in there just to, you know,
Oh
it's
my
got to
God.
be the bulk of what you see
Yeah.
in an ER besides heart attacks.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's a problem. Obviously, I mean, as you know, I mean, uh, California, LA, especially, you know, San Francisco too. But I mean, you know, they get pinned out as, you know, this is the kind of city it is. You know, you got it's a homeless issue, transient problem, you know, drug issues. And yeah, I mean, that's absolutely what comes on our door. I mean, hundreds a day, you know, you get these people just come in a bad way. And, you know, working, especially when they put us, you know, because they rotate our positions. So if we're working in, you know, the emergency room, we get a pay differential for that because we're getting these people raw and uncut off the street in their worst form possible when they come in that emergency room. You know, uh, that right there is where you see that person in their full form of, you know, what they are right there when they're in that emergency room. You know, like you get that full on set of what we're dealing with, what kind of person this is, and then, you know, once they get through that first haul of, you know, getting checked in the emergency, you know, the next step is, you know, further diagnosis. Do they need to be here now? Did they just need meds? Did they, you know, they're figuring that out to get them to their next destination, whether it be back out again on the street or up to another room for maybe, you know, psych care or something extra that, you know, they're able to provide for some of these people. Um, you know, I do see what these ER bills look like, and, you know, I definitely get why our taxes are looking the way they are, you know, because you know, these transients come in, who's paying the hospital visit? We
Even
are.
though right, and you have to take the people no matter what, right? Insurance or not, you take it.
Insurance or not. So emergency room, you are not legally able to turn anybody down. If they coming into the ER, they could punch a nurse in the face, get thrown out, come back an hour later bleeding, and we have to take them back in. You know, it's literally like that where we don't have a choice. And you know, unfortunately, I mean, you know, you got transients coming in for a PB&J and a blanket, and you know, that's a $30,000 bill right there.
What?
For a PB&J and
That's what they'll bill the state, you know, 20 grand, 30 grand for a general entry, any entry to the ER. I mean, even if you were to go look at some of your past ER bills, you'll see, you know, what your insurance, what you pay out of insurance. I mean, I went a couple months ago to check myself into the ER. I stepped on glass, cut my foot, and that visit they billed like $40,000, and I paid $250 out of pocket. But I'm like, if I had to, I mean, just imagine, you know, if I was a transient going in here, that's a $40,000 bill that who's eating? That guy's not paying. He's going back to grab his beer sign and go get to, you know, a couple scuttles on the corner. But for me, I mean, we got to pay our dues, you know. And then you look at your taxes, you know, you get your gross 2 G's, and then you get your take home, and it's like, you know, 14 and change. You're like, damn, you know, you're looking at how much comes out, and you're like, I guess it's for those guys that come in, they need a, you know, a blanket and a PB&J, some meds, you know, they whack us over the head, 40 G's. And there's a, you know, that's our, what I don't even know the taxes in Cali. What, it's like 26%, something ridiculous.
I'll tell you something, Fish. Look at this. Look at this guy, Tank. He's a well-read guy. He's no he's no blockhead, you know, some dumb security guy. You're a very smart guy. You know what's going on around you. I would like you to tell Fish the story you told me in the car, which is epic. It's a funny story, which will change the tone of this. The girl that you had who came in and you couldn't find the medal on her.
Yeah, yeah,
okay? Yeah. Tell us that story.
So yeah. So pivoting off of the hyper tragic moments here, going to more. I mean, see it in your own way. It's more of a humor tragedy, but you know, I guess how it ended up there is tragic. But yeah. So one day we had a woman come in, transient off the street. She was all beat up. Someone, I guess, whatever. Who knows what happened? But we're putting her through the detectors, and we keep getting you know, get a red square showing up on the screen around her abdomen. And she's in leggings. She's got a pocketbook on, you know, and we're like, what is, like, what the, you know, what the fuck's going on here? And we're, you know, we get the wands out, we're manually wanding, and the wand's pinging like, oh, like, you know, under her belly button. You know, I'm like, what the fuck? You know, I'm like looking at my partner. I'm like, yo, am I hallucinating right now? Or is like, there's, you got a hip replacement? Have you gotten like, is there like any kind of like magnetic or precious metal in your body? You know, like, no, I got piercings on my ears. I'm like, all right, well, I don't know what's going on. You know, we search the body good. So then we get them back to when they put them into like the next level room, which will be like the quad, which is like for a psych, you know, 5150 self-harm. It'll be like a 4-room space where it's like the most mentally or you know, intensive cases where it'll be a self-harm, self-injury, someone that could be a threat to themselves or others. So we put them in that room, and we do another screening. We do another search, and we're going through again, and there's the ping. And I'm talking to the nurse, and I said, I don't know, but there's metal in this woman somewhere. She's holding something. And the nurse looks over at the clinical partner, and they're like, all right, let's go check. So we go over. I'm holding the flashlight. They run a cavity on this woman, okay? And hello, up out of her hooch, you ready, is a little fucking scratch off, a little bootstrap pistol that she had lodged in her vaginal cavity. Okay, you talk about the level of
a gun in her cooch.
A gun in the hooch. She had boofed a straight up handgun in her hooch, man. And that was probably the most wild, like, unhinged shit I've ever seen. Where I'm like, yo, the fact that she was just casually walking around with a firearm in the hooch is just, to me, she's a testament. You know, that's like a hero. It's like a transient hero right there. You know, there's like Batman, and then you have, like, you know, Transient Tina, the Glock boofing bandit. You know, we don't know how it got in there, but yeah, God bless that woman, and hopefully now, I mean, she's been discharged, and hopefully she's discharged the firearm from her hoo-ha. You know, hopefully that's no longer a permanent resident.
Two questions I have for you, Tank. One, who went in to get the gun?
Yeah, see, so that's where I know my payroll, my pay grade. See, now I know Big Grunny wanted to be the one to go and retrieve it, and that's why he's not a hospital security guard, because he'd be too gung ho for stuff like that. So we have to pivot, and I had the nurse and the clinical go in there to pull it out physically, because they get paid double what we make. So I mean, hey, if we're gonna pull straws here, you know, you're the one medically qualified to do this. So I don't want to hit the I don't want to accidentally hit the trigger in there and
Oh,
set one off.
Oh,
So yeah,
God.
I let them do the fragile work. They get paid for that. So, but we have there. We pulled it out. I had to confiscate. We put it in an evidence baggie, and yeah, God bless her.
yeah.
That
I
was
mean, the second question I have is, do you have her number?
I
yeah.
knew
My
it.
God,
Tank Sanfratello come from? Is that just that's your?
Tank was just my football name, man. That's just how I used to play like a tank, man. Anyone in front of me, man, they were just getting rolled over. That's just how it was. I was very, very good run blocker. As you can see, I'm 6'8", 350. It's NFL size. So I mean, I was that size in high school.
Wow.
So just my teachers, when I was like clowning in class, I could bend my teacher over my knee and spank them, tell them to go to detention. Like those
Love to see
those are the
that.
kind of antics, because it's like they don't know, they're handling normal sized children, and then there's this giant, this guy's like 15 years old, he's 6'8", 300 pounds. What are we gonna do with this kid? Like and they still have to remember, like, yeah, I'm a kid, so I might be big, but I don't realize, I don't know my size. I didn't realize my size until I started playing football. And then I was like, damn, because, meeting so many coaches, players, people, you make your connections.
Are
And
you Tank? Are you Giants, Rangers, Knicks, and Yankees? Or are you the other one? Are you the
oh yeah,
Jets
yeah,
and the
yeah.
Mets and the?
Giants, Rangers, Knicks, Yanks, baby, all
Okay,
day. That's
good.
my cluster. Brooklyn's Fugazi, go back to Jersey, That was, but I'm glad they kind of did that a little bit too, because it did help a little bit with dispersing all the nonsense at MSG. Kind of pulled them off to get the Barclays Center, get an extra venue in that city to kind of help keep the crowdage down. You get a little extra break off on fans, and it is a beautiful arena. I can't front. The Barclays Arena is like absolutely gorgeous, but you can't touch the energy of like a post Nick game at MSG. That energy is unmatchable.
What
You
about
go
the
into some.
Rangers right now? The
Yeah.
I mean,
Rangers,
yeah,
huge.
Rangers on a hot streak. God bless, man. Let's see them finish. As a New Yorker, the superstition, man. We just, we don't even want to talk about these things. We keep it, we kaputs on the extras. We got to let them finish, man. I don't want to do no jinxing over here on my end.
Yeah.
I don't need no black
No
cat
can of
going underneath
horrors.
the
Yeah.
ladder.
No can of horrors. What? So in school, you must have been the enforcer. I mean, you ever see the movie My Bodyguard? You were that
Yeah,
guy. You're the
yeah,
bodyguard.
yeah. So yeah, basically when I was first, like when I was like through like first grade up until like middle school, I was just this little chubby ball, and then all of a sudden I started eating my vegetables, and I just started growing, just at a enormous rate. It had to be the vegetables, man. And yeah, I hit this growth spurt, and the bullying stopped. People were just like, yo, what am I going to say to this guy? This dude's going to flatten me. So eventually, yeah, it got to the point where I used to get bullied so much, and then it stopped. And then I would step in for the other kids that would get picked on, and I actually, some of my best friends are, kids that just, these kids are now off in software and tech jobs making, 500 a year. And, living in mansions, and I talk to them all the time, and we always laugh back in the day. So yeah, remember this kid that was bullying you? So he's on his third kid living in a double wide in the middle of Comac. I said you're in a palace now, driving an Italian sports car. I said, who's got the last laugh, brother? you know
Hey,
and I said,
Tank.
let me know. I tell them I'll still be a security guard. Let me know when you want to put me on the payroll.
Hey, Tank. Brad and I, but both my parents, Brad, his dad, they're from New York. We have New York roots, and we
Yes, that's why
born
we
and
got
raised in
along.
Los Angeles. What's your take on L.A. being in? You've been there for what, 4 or 5 years? Give me an
Yeah,
honest take on L.A. Do you think it's as fake as all New Yorkers think it is? There's some good stuff about L.A., right? Don't you love the
yeah.
beaches?
No, listen, half a decade here. As a New Yorker, we're just trained, man, out of the womb to detect bullshit, to detect, what isn't supposed to be. So, I mean, since I've came out here, I mean, an ode to California as a whole, because I mean the national parks, the topography, the geography, even the just the biome of California as a whole, the nature, all of it is gorgeous. You know what I mean? Everybody hyper focuses on the big city, right? They always want to focus on, oh well, Los Angeles County and the inner city. It's fucked in every city. I got news for you. Every big city you go to, there's a problem. All right. It's like you can't get away from problems. There's gonna be mental issues and drug issues in every major city because that's just the way it's been. And it's never gonna change because who's funding to fix it? You know what I mean? You got people making billions of dollars. Do they need billions of dollars? No. I mean, look, we survive on on way less than billions of dollars. We do just fine, right? We still get the same takes out of life. These people with the billions, they need to get hedged, man. Start getting that money to clean the street. You want clean streets? You want to stop complaining? Start hedging some of these like extreme monopolies, whether it's a guy like Elon. Come on, you it's like, do you need all that money? Do you need to be self-retrieving rockets? All this is great, it's cool, no doubt, but it's like him as a whole has so much fucking money, he couldn't spend it all if he wanted to, and when he dies, where's it going to go? So it's like, while you're here on Earth, why don't you take some of that instead of figuring out fucking Mars? Why don't you figure out Earth?
Great line.
Great line. How quick they are. They'd rather go to another fucking planet 8 billion miles away, light years for Christ's sakes, than fucking figure out what's wrong with Earth.
Absolutely.
It cracks me up.
I think you missed your calling. Let me ask you. Tank would be great on The Sopranos. Let me tell you this right now. Right, Fish. Did acting ever come around? Did anybody ever say, "Hey, you're a real character"? Did you ever think about acting?
Yeah. I've gotten that all the time. Lo and behold, believe it or not, my father, my blood father, sperm donor, was actually an actor. Believe it or not, and he was so good, he actually acted like a father for like 2 months of my life. and he flew out of New York, came out to LA. It was amazing. It was the best role he ever played. And so the acting, definitely, a lot of people have been like, listen, dude, like the personality, you're a rock star, man, and I hear it so much, and I'm just like, I don't know, I'm like, what route or angle do I approach with this? What is going to be, because it's like you come to, and it's like, all right, yeah, you're funny, no doubt, you got zingers, you got some knee slap humor, no, for sure, but it's like, how do you apply it to marketability? That's the main scheme. It's like, where do you find the avenue for marketability on it? That's the biggest thing with all these people that come up in the game, whether they're, comedians or whatever. It's like finding that angle of, your marketability and what line you're going to take to, turn it from doing little stand-up gigs and shit for free to finally, making an income out of it, or finding an angle to actually, make money doing what you love. And I love to make people laugh. I love to.
You do it so well. You got me, buddy. You got me. I'll tell you something. You're a very unique individual, and I am Jewish, but I'm more spiritual than religious. And I'm telling you, I was going to shut off my meter, and then I said, I'll take one more, and then it was you. So we were meant to be friends, and I'm going to do something for you. I'm going to try to do something for you. Show business has changed a lot with the strike and a lot of other nonsense and bullshit.
Yep.
But you are a real fucking walking character. Fish, am I correct?
I got an idea. Tank, why don't you hire Brad at the hospital and train him how to be a security guard, and you put it on film, and every time someone walks into the ER, you use a Jewish guilt. Remember your Jewish grandmothers? All right, you got a broken arm. What's the big deal? I had it worse. I have an itch in my body,
Put a little ice on it. I used to walk 17 miles to school.
Have a look at filter fish and potato latkes. You two guys as security guards in a hospital, phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
think Brad's too nice. He wouldn't be able to handle what you have to handle. He's just,
yeah. Brad to me, I think I love the guy to death, but he would just be an HR nightmare, brother. This guy would be a slippery slope on my name's coattails, man. I don't know if I could do
he's
that.
already. You know what he's thinking about, Tank? He's thinking about the 4'11" Hispanic lady you had as a in your first job you talked about. He's trying to get her number. Brad,
Yeah,
every nurse would know Brad's everything in
he's
5
He's
minutes
going
if
to
he
every
walked in there.
Bevmo in a 10-mile radius right now to go see if she's still an employee or not. And then afterwards, he's going to hit every street corner around the Bevmos to see if that lady boofing the Glock is still out there fucking on the corner. He's relentless, man. I knew he was a dog. The second I got in his car, I said, "Hey, how's your day going?" He goes, "It was great until you hopped in it." I said, "Oh yeah."
Let me tell you something. We're gonna do a roast for this guy. I'll bring you in. He's the nicest guy I've ever met on the planet, but there's an ulterior motive. If he's doing something good for somebody, trust me, especially for a woman. Okay. When you told the story about what was up that girl's vagina, that's what he was wanted to do. He wanted to be up that girl's vagina.
I wanted to be the tech to get the gun out of there. I had to do that. It was my job.
Dr. Saperstein, I'll take this. What, you're a doctor on staff here? I am now.
Hey, Tank, did you ever out of high school get recruited for any colleges or?
Yeah. I was recruited a lot of New York schools, Syracuse, University of Buffalo. Was recruited University of Tennessee, University West Virginia. Well, I had a big recruit list. I ended up going to University of Miami. I went down University of Miami. Yeah,
wow. You went to the U.
I went to the U, man, the pipeline, and I blew my fucking leg out like first week of practice, and then I left out of there because it's a meat market. When you go to these D1 schools, people don't realize, and especially listen down south, these fucking corn-fed guys, all right, these hogs, this is religion to them. These fucking people, and they're all fucking. They're all a little dumb in the head, They don't fucking think about anything. They're just a little stupid. All they know is football, and they're fucking great at it, So when you go down south, you realize, these people were bred for this shit, okay? Like, I just happened to be blessed with the size and frame. I wasn't born into this shit. I was eating salsa meatballs on weekends. These guys were fucking hitting the sled with their fucking, incestual fucking little cult in their little fucking down south swamp. And these people are out here knocking slobber out of each other, okay? True troglodytes, okay? These people are fucking, straight up, like cavemen down there.
You're
ogres,
right.
they just don't even know.
Brad went to the University of Arizona, which is, that's norm, and it's a great party school. I went to the University of Texas.
That explains it all.
Well, I went to the University of Texas. Exactly what you said about football. It's religion down there. I mean,
religion. You watch, if you even watch like, what is it? Oh man, it's the
Friday Night Lights.
Tigers down. The Permian fucking Tigers, man. When they had the real docuseries on that shit, yeah. But the real, not even like the farmed Hollywood shit, but the real documentary of that town. Unbelievable, man. Like, do you understand when the baby's born? The fucking football coach comes into the fucking the NICU and tells the fucking parents what their kid's gonna be. Looks at the dad, looks at the mom. He's like, "Yeah, this is gonna be my starting quarterback in 2025." It's like, it's like 2010. He's like telling these parents what their fucking kid's gonna be destined to. And
could you imagine? Could you imagine when you were born? What were you, about 11 pounds?
God, yes. They would have just said, before I was born, they told my mother, "Listen, your son's obese. He hasn't had a meal yet, but your son's obese." Okay. Oh, they just knew it. They were like, "This kid's gonna be huge." My dad was 6'10", 6'10", 3 and change. And my mom she ain't small either. She's 5'9", and she's strong arm. I mean, she's built like a tank. My mother, she's huge. She's a strong Italian mother, and I mean, she whooped my ass my whole life. So you could just imagine she's whooping my ass, and I'm a monster. I mean, give her a wooden spoon. I'll take her against anybody, man. Everyone's an underdog. You put a wooden spoon in that hand, bro.
Did you go to your prom?
Yes, I did. I went to my prom.
I like to see that picture with you, your date, and all your friends and their dates. Oh my God. They're like, what is the father doing here? He's going with us? I mean, oh my God. You must have got that
for sure. I mean,
everybody
Luckily, I
thought
still had
you
the
were not
baby
a
face.
kid.
I didn't have the staunch mustache
Oh,
on.
okay.
I wasn't like, I didn't
You,
have the stash yet. So I still had the baby face. So luckily, I
uh-huh.
was able to still have the youth. I wasn't, I could have maybe came off as the older brother that's maybe like just started
Tank,
college, maybe in my high
Tank, you
school.
want to see Brad's prom date? I got a
Oh,
picture of
God.
Brad's prom date. I had no idea I was going to bring this up, but I have a picture of Brad's prom date.
There we
We found
go.
her, and she's going to be in your hospital soon.
Oh
Oh my
God.
God. Yeah, that's right up the alley right there. That's probably what you find in between the bar in Vegas and the hospital, probably outside, I'm
She's a
sure.
wonderful woman. She's misunderstood. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Tank, when did you go to the porno mustache? When did you go to it? When did you say,
You know what? I went to the porno mustache. So since I've been out here, I've been like super embracing the Mexican culture, and I've been like on this ultimate slaying spree of like Latina, little Latinas, little hyenas, man. I've been out here on this little spree, and going through these little chiquitas, man. I've been found that the mustache is in. And the women love the mustache. I go on the dating apps. I'm on Hinge. I'm on Tinder, and I just see the little excerpts, some of the baddies on there. Like I'm into men with mustaches, and I'm like, I mean, I might just keep this because we can't have beards where we work. We're not allowed to have beards. It's
oh,
only
okay.
clean shave or mustache. So
I love it.
I'm like, I gotta go off of statistics here now. If I got women saying they fuck with the mustache, and I can't have a beard, I'm gonna have
You,
to keep the mustache because at
you
least I
keep
can
it.
still retain something, and I'm not like completely baby face, where I'm looking
Right,
like Baymax.
right.
I
Ron Jeremy's very proud right now.
Let,
He's
I'm
let me,
sure
let,
I
Brad,
know
let
what
me
he's
give him a little advice. Let me hear you say this. I'm going to give you a little coaching here. Vatos locos forever, ese 18, blood in, blood out. Say it.
carnal, sangre por sangre, carnal.
You're in.
Oh
You're
my
in.
God, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's so funny you said that because I don't know why, but out of nowhere, everybody's on this blood in, blood out fucking
Oh,
viewing spree. Everybody's watching that movie right now. And my buddy from work, my buddy Ordonez was like, yo, you got to watch this movie. This is LA culture right here. This is La Cotora. You need to watch this. And I said, all right, man. And I tuned in. And at first I was like, what the fuck am I watching? And then I'm like, and then he starts breaking it down. I'm glad he was watching it with me because he broke down all the little like important parts. And then I was like, damn, this is a 3 hour fucking movie. And I haven't seen like a 3 hour movie since what? Like Titanic was like 3 hours.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
who even funded this? And it was a Hollywood studio. There are they even existent? It was like the Sphinx Pyramid, Hollywood Studios. They're not even around anymore. Who
Yeah.
funded the 3 hour movie?
Oh
God
my God.
bless. Oy vey.
Los
I don't know.
Onda.
Oy
Los Onda,
vey.
ese. We are, carnal. Come on. Vatos
That's
locos
it.
forever.
Locals. That's it, man, for sure, bro. That movie was it was wild though, man. Miklo, bro. That guy, he did it all, man. And at the end, he came up on top, but I guess he had to play the bottom for a little bit, Unintended.
Hey, Tank, real quick. We had a wonderful. I know you've been one of the best guests we've ever had, but we had a wonderful guest last week named Onyx Muse. She's a
Yeah.
stripper
And I
and a
was ready
dominatrix.
for a little DM, a little
Put your
dirty
head down so we can see the
Los
top of
Angeles.
your head because we have some strippers watching right now. Let's see the top of your head. There you go, girls.
The
Yeah, look
Live
hairline's
at
it
not
that.
up.
fucked.
Look at
So
that,
listen,
man. That little
even though the
patch on
hairline's
there.
botched, right? That's why I got the
That's
mustache, so you got something to hold on to. I look out for the women.
I just saw that the same thing at a strip club last night. Just do that again with your head.
Are you going off on the line again?
There it is. Yeah. That
The
landing
fucked up.
strip. Yeah, that's very
I
nice.
haven't got, last time I got a haircut, I was bald, to be honest. I used to just shave it completely because the last time I went out here and got a haircut, this jerk off told me we don't do razor fades in LA. And I said, well, if you're not doing fucking razor fades in LA, I'm not getting a fucking haircut in LA. So I just started cutting my own hair like a fucking child, okay? And now I just cut my own hair. I won't give them the money. That's just flex to me. I'm not paying you. Give me my fucking razor fade. I'm not paying you. And then this jerk off, right? He tells me the whole time he's cutting my hair, oh, it's gonna look the same as a razor fade with the fucking clipper. I said, bro, you're just bullshitting yourself at this point, bro. I said, you're telling me that a clipper's getting as tight as a razor. You're out of your fucking mind, okay? and then afterwards, he spins me around in the chair and he goes, yeah, I'll be $60. And I looked him dead in the eyes, and I slapped a 20 in his hand, and I said, "You look at it and just fucking walk out." And that was the last haircut I ever got.
Wow.
And that's it. And now I just do my own shit. I'll run the two through it, and I'll do a little fucking jab on the sides, But I'll save the money, man. I'd rather have botch hair. No one can see it anyway. I'm 6'8". Who's looking at my fucking hairline? They looking at the bottom of my chin the whole time.
This is called a callback, Tank. That guy didn't chase you out wanting to get his extra $40. He let you go, right? Just like the guy with the bottles. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean, that was it, man. I don't think he really had a choice. I think he was just blessed to get his 20 piece after that, And I told him, man, like, you ain't getting like $60, bro. I said I could have did this haircut in my bathroom. And then you know what I started doing? My own haircuts in my bathroom.
Oh, that's great. Hey, Tank, this has been unbelievable. We have one more question for you, and then we're gonna bring you back, right, Fish? Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, I'm getting rid of you.
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah.
Tank, what was your first job when you were a little kid in Brooklyn? What was the first job? Did you
I worked at
a paying job?
So growing up, but we were in like our house was like it was like log cabin shit. So we had a wood burning stove. That was our heat. So I was chopping wood growing up my whole life. We'd get cords of wood delivered, and I'd be out there with the axe splitting wood, keep the house warm, for the winter. And we had to cut cords of wood and stack it to dry, and then that wood would have to last us the winter time, get us through. And I worked at a nursery at a garden center. That was my first job ever, was working at the garden center, dropping bags of mulch in people's cars, helping them lug, big flowers, arborvitaes to the car, the whole nine. So yeah, that was my first gig ever, was as a young bull, was just working in the garden center with my mom's friend's husband. They owned the nursery there. I used to work with them.
You're a real hustler. I bet you're a real hustler. You made money all sorts of ways.
Oh yeah. And I mean, eventually I was, when I started bouncing, and that's such a versatile schedule when you're doing, bouncing in clubs and stuff, because you hit off your weekends. You got your, basically Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday ordeal through the bouncing gig. It's always you'll have money coming in. And then I used to sell cars. That was the other flip side, was selling cars. So I'd move metal in the day, and then at night I would just I would go bounce at the bars, and it was big bread, man.
Buddy, you're unbelievable. Is this real, Fish? This guy?
Yeah.
Are we being played? This guy is unbelievable.
Yeah, hustler. I mean, that's why they don't make them like they do in New York out here. I'm sure the ADHD in me, we probably haven't even answered fully any questions you probably asked me at this point. And thinking back,
no, exactly.
It all got lost in the sauce somewhere. But yeah, I mean, absolutely, man. We're built different. We're built different. All three of us are built different.
You're funny and genuine, and if The Sopranos was still going nowadays, hopefully someone would see this podcast and go, "We gotta go into the hospital. This guy's working and get him on as Tony Soprano's driver or something."
No,
like that,
this guy. No.
Quick did you guys peep on the Sopranos talk here? Did you peep that HBO Max is running a Sopranos spinoff with, rest in peace, Tony, in real life, his son.
Oh, his son. Yeah.
I
don't know if
they
that
did,
was
well, real quick, they did The Many Saints of Newark, which was the movie.
Right.
They're doing another one. So it takes Michael Gandolfini, that ends when he's about 17, 18 years old. Going to take him through his 20s. So
right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a little SERP right there, man. Maybe I'll go hit up one of the studios up here. Be like, hey, y'all still shooting or what?
Tank, you got to get a fucking headshot and an agent. You be working all the time. You are a real character. And I want to thank you for being on the show. We're going to bring you back. Tank Sanfratello, ladies and gentlemen.
Sanfratello.
Yes. And we're going to bring you back for
more
stories.
All right.
Yeah, good, boy. Thank you so much. Protect all those people in the hospital.
Hey, God bless. And yes, again, pivoting back, happy belated Memorial Day to all of those family, friends of those that have fallen, protecting our country, defending this blessed land. We are so blessed every day. Like I said, every day I reflect on being grateful on the most minimal things, having a box of Cheez-Its in the pantry, having milk in the fridge, having toilet paper, all right, having a roof over my head. The most minimal things, man. be grateful. Be grateful because life could always be so much worse. That's what I tell people, man. Life could always be so much worse.
I haven't learned anything in this hour, but do you really use toilet paper?
I mean, sometimes, it's nice. I'm more of a wet wipe guy, though. I like the wet wipes.
I am too.
Toilet paper's overrated, man. It's all about the wet wipes, man. That's where the real.
Clean that
that's
shit out.
The caviar of the bathroom right there would be the wet wipe.
Give him a nice hand, Fish. Big Tank. Thank you, buddy.
Stay safe. Look me up in Vegas. I'll get your stuff. We'll come to Vegas.
I'll make sure. I find the local hospital, and I know you'll be right next to it, slinging out the hot drinks. I like it old fashioned. All right, give me a good old fashioned.
I'm your muddler.
All right, I'll see you meddling.
We're gonna travel on our world tour soon. So thanks, buddy. Stay safe.
God bless
you, man.
You guys around.
I'm Fatfish. We'll see you
soon. Thanks, buddy.
What was that?
What was that? How do you go back to back with Onyx Muse and yet? I mean, Brad, you talk all the time about the lift. You get a guy like that who is absolutely a natural, like you, one-liner, natural, quick-witted guy.
I mean, did you hear his references, how he speaks, his cadence? I mean, the guy is a fucking walking character. I really like him. I'm gonna try to do so. I have an idea, so I'm gonna run it by him. But let's talk about this wonderful drink for a second. Cloud Water. This is the greatest seltzer I have ever. I wasn't a seltzer guy. Barry and Mark came up with this concoction. It is absolutely wonderful. You can put libation in there. You can just drink it from the can. All sorts of stuff. It's good for your gut. So this is what I want everybody to do. I want you to Google this. Cloudwaterbrands.com. That's cloudwaterbrands.com. Look at all the flavors. Buy yourself a case. Buy a friend a case. It's so good and so tasty and so good for you. And use our very special friends and family discount, FATFISH20. FATFISH20, you'll get a discount on a nice case of Cloudwater brands. And by the way, they have a lot of different flavors and a lot of different stuff. And good stuff. Fish, what do you think?
Absolutely. Gut health and immunity. You can catch the Fat Fish podcast on YouTube, Facebook, DBTV, Roku.
Yeah.
Listen to us on podbean.com. It's everywhere. And then TikTok at Fish6134. Trust me, we're going to have clips of this guy. I'm still floored by Tank. It's just when you have a guest like that just does, you don't have to ask him a question. Just let him talk.
Oh, you just sit back and relax. Yeah, he does all the work. By the way, how was your weekend? Did you were you with the family?
Yeah, absolutely. Barbecue, like I said in the beginning of the show, the most important holiday to me personally. It's not Thanksgiving. I'm thankful every day for the Brads and the family in my life. And Christmas, Hanukkah, I don't care. I give gifts all year round. But I can't tell you, when you watch I watched the Band of Brothers marathon. They're all on. And I just, because of our families. I know my grandfathers, what they went through. My dad in Korea, my uncles and stuff like that. And I had a lot of cousins in Vietnam. And people don't understand the sacrifice. Do you get that in your life? Do you meet people like that, Brad?
Absolutely. When I was in the Hollywood Tropicana, I met them. They came in uniform into the club. I would go over. I would shake their hand. Much respect. What do you want? What do you mean? What do I want? I go, what do you want? It's on me, baby. Come on now. Imagine me in the service. Where's the mess hall? Where's the mess hall?
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies is Stripes, and it was a comedy with Bill Murray, John Candy, and it was such a great movie. But it did tell the story of enlisting, in the Army, and it was really funny. It's one of my favorite movies, but it's real, man. It's real. I mean, you give up your life, whatever it was, whatever you were doing, to enlist, and there are rules and regulations that you have to abide by to be in the service, and you protect us. You protect us all over the world, and it's like you said, the ultimate sacrifice, because anything can happen at any time, right, Fish?
Right. Wow.
Well, hey, man, this is number 63 is in the books. And wait till 64. That's Eric Fish Schneider. I'm Brad Grunny Grunberg, a.k.a. Sax, and Dave Linden. Take us home, baby.
You've been listening to the Fat Fish Podcast, heard on all your favorite platforms. Until next time.